In a world of full-size pickups, the Silverado represents one of the most rational choices. It is capable, well-built, and pretty reliable. But no vehicle is flawless, and that's why we present to you 7 things that Chevy Silverado owners are not thrilled with. Stay with us as the countdown starts right now. Number 7. Ride quality. When you look at pickups from just a decade ago, it's not even comparable because modern trucks made such a big leap in terms of ride quality. The Silverado is no exception, and when compared to some previous generations, it's easily a much better vehicle to drive. It's more maneuverable with way less body lean in corners. But not all things are ideal, especially if we bring up some of the key rivals to the table, such as the Ram 1500, which revolutionized the pickup segment with its multi-link suspension setup. Chevy's pickup, on the other hand, still relies on good old leaf springs, a technical solution that's been around from the earliest days of pickup trucks. That technical solution brings a couple of well-known drawbacks, especially when it comes to comfort. There's a lot of bounce, especially with an empty cargo bed, and even though some rivals such as the F-150 are also relying on leaf springs, they seem to absorb road imperfections a little bit better. Still, we have to be fair and point out some of the strengths of this chassis, and one of them is definitely maneuverability. This pickup deals with tight spaces pretty well and definitely feels smaller once you're behind the steering wheel. But at the same time, most Silverado owners do not like the steering feedback, which is pretty much non-existent, especially at higher speeds. Number 6. Lack of high-end off-road version. For a long time, Chevy was hesitant to offer a capable off-road version of its full-size pickup. There was the Trail Boss trim with certain off-road upgrades, but that was still far from an ultimate off-roader. Things changed drastically a few years ago when we saw the Silverado ZR2 for the first time. However, it looks like even a capable pickup truck like this is still missing one important feature to catch up with key rivals like the Ram TRX and Ford F-150 Raptor. As for the off-road features, everything looks perfect on this pickup. It comes with high-performance multimatic dampers, 2-inch suspension upgrades, massive mud-terrain tires, 2 locking differentials, a 2-speed transfer case, etc. Moreover, Chevy also offers the Bison package with further off-road upgrades, but the problem is that even the most expensive off-roader in the Silverado's lineup uses the same engine as the rest of the range. Namely, the ZR2 features the same 6.2-liter V8 engine with 420 horsepower, while you could also get a variant with a 3.0-liter inline-6 turbo diesel and enjoy a bit more torque but significantly less power. Meanwhile, both the Raptor and TRX come with monstrous supercharged V8 engines that put out 700 plus horsepower, making a gap between them and the rest of the pack. Even the new Tundra TRD Pro is more capable than the ZR2, with its hybrid system that puts out a pretty impressive 583 pound-feet of torque. Number 15. Outdated interior in base models. The moment the current generation of Chevy's full-size pickup was introduced, it was so obvious that something was wrong with it. The company was rushing to keep up with rivals and launch the new generation, so there was no time to redo the interior. Instead, the dashboard design remained unchanged, and that remained until recently, when the midsize cycle refresh finally brought a new, way more modern dashboard design. However, not all versions of the refreshed Silverado came equipped with a new interior. No, the most basic versions still have the old interior with outdated aesthetics and a small infotainment screen. This practically means that you have to pay extra to get a contemporary interior design, which is something potential Silverado buyers don't like. Moreover, even if you're willing to pay extra for a nicer interior, keep in mind that things are far from ideal. Other than the massive infotainment screen, attractive dashboard design, and slightly improved ergonomics, there are some things that still feel subpar when compared to the competition, and that particularly refers to the selection of materials, which isn't great at all. Simply said, the Silverado still lags behind key rivals in this aspect. Number 4. Rear seat comfort. The current generation Silverado is quite configurable when it comes to seating options and overall comfort. Base models feature a regular cab layout, and we don't have any complaints about its only row. Moreover, we like its bench layout, which accommodates 3 adults pretty easily. The same bench can be found in double and crew cab models, but it gets replaced by 2 bucket seats in higher trims that also offer a high level of comfort. On the other hand, things aren't all that great in the second row. The double cab model brings that extra level of flexibility and comfort, but it's more of an extended cab layout, where the second row passenger space feels a little bit tight, and adult passengers probably won't get the desired level of comfort. Thankfully, things are way better in the crew cab model, which offers an ample amount of legroom in the second row. From that perspective, there's nothing to complain about. 3 adults can fit in pretty easily, but the problem is that they won't enjoy long journeys very much. The rear seats aren't designed particularly well, whether it's about comfort or side support. Moreover, the seating position also feels a little bit awkward, and if you add to this the limitations suspensions that come with the aforementioned rear suspension setup, it's quite obvious that the Silverado can hardly be considered a family hauler, unlike the Ram 1500, which feels far superior in every aspect comfort-wise. Number 3. Adaptive cruise control has bugs. Modern pickups can be equipped with all kinds of tech and convenience features and match SUVs and crossovers in so many ways. One of them is the amount of driver assistance features, and the Silverado is anything but short of in this aspect. It can be loaded with all kinds of advanced systems, but some of them do not work perfectly. The adaptive cruise control is one of those. Although it generally works pretty well in terms of not overreacting while maintaining speed and distance, it has a few bugs that aren't just annoying, but can potentially be dangerous too. Namely, we heard several owners complain about the adaptive cruise control and how it acts in stop-and-go traffic, where the truck tends to lurch forward occasionally, leaving the driver no options but to remain highly focused on traffic, which makes the system look a little bit purposeless. Just like many other vehicles from General Motors, the Silverado is also available with a pretty advanced Super Cruise semi-autonomous driving system. Although undoubtedly a great feature that works very well, we have a small problem with it. Namely, you can only get it in the range-topping version of this pickup, which is not the case with rivals, as Ford offers a pretty similar system called the Blue Cruise in way more variants of its pickup. Number 2. Fuel economy. With gas prices skyrocketing in the last few years, even truck drivers started to pay a lot of attention to efficiency. That's where many Chevy Silverado owners feel a little bit disappointed. Although we can talk about some significant differences, the Silverado indeed is a little bit behind key rivals. The base Turbo 4 is a perfect example, as it returns around 19 mpg in the city and 22 mpg on the highway. For comparison, Ram's base V6 returns around 20 mpg in the city and 25 mpg on the highway, while Ford's base V6 returns around 19 mpg in the city and 24 mpg on the highway. Moreover, Ford's 2.7-liter turbo V6 returns quite an impressive 20 mpg in the city and 26 mpg on the highway, and it's more capable than Chevy's Turbo 4 at the same time. The same story is with other comparable powertrain options. Chevy's V8 units return around 16 to 17 mpg in the city and up to 21 mpg on the highway. At the same time, Ram's Hemi V8 is good for about 23 mpg on the highway. Finally, Ford's 5.0-liter Coyote returns quite an impressive 18 mpg in the city and 24 mpg on the highway. So the only way to get superior fuel economy is to get the diesel, which has been updated recently and now offers more power and torque than Ram's V6 oil burner. At the same time, Chevy's inline-6 turbo diesel features better city economy, though Ram's unit provides a few more miles per gallon on the open road. Number 1. Reliability issues. The Chevy Silverado is undoubtedly one of the most reliable pickups around, but it isn't flawless. It may come with a couple of issues that aren't usually major, but can be pretty annoying. One of the first things to keep in mind is that most Chevy engines are a little bit thirsty for oil, so it's important to check the oil level occasionally to prevent serious engine damage. Furthermore, problems with the four-wheel drive transfer case position sensor and selector switch failure have been reported as well. Many owners also reported transmission issues, which come in the form of shift flares during acceleration. After some time, the transmission would stop working, and even though Chevy associates these issues with bad maintenance, the fact is that they could appear at pretty low mileage. A few more issues have been reported as well, such as the failure of the start-stop system, sound system, and some in-car electronics. But although some of these issues can be quite annoying, the Silverado is generally a pretty reliable truck that usually ranks higher than the competition in this aspect. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.